Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you enjoy what you see and if you want to continue seeing more. Coming up in this episode, we'll catch up to Monday night's Women's Rugby League semi-finals and why Craig Richards is stepping down from his position with the England women's team, and a Rugby League investigation after Radley at Bentley. And we start with that news that Rugby League World Cup organisers are investigating an alleged brawl between England star Victor Radley and Irish international James Bentley in Manchester overnight. The incident allegedly sparked after Radley leapt to the defence of England coach Shaun Wane, who was abused by Bentley after being overlooked for the England side. Sources with knowledge of the incident confirmed complaints were made to World Cup organisers after a physical altercation involving the Sydney Roosters lock at the Manchester suburb of Worsley, 20 minutes west of the city. Actually 2 junctions down from where I am actually at this moment, so 5-minute drive. Anyway, the allegations prompted an investigation into the matter, with the England player expected to file a report. Radley, who bowed out of the World Cup following a heartbreaking Golden Point loss to Samoa in the semi-finals, has not responded to this masthead's questions. Tournament organisers confirmed they were across the situation. The Rugby League World Cup is aware of the reported incidents and is in conversation with the respective parties to establish the circumstances, a Rugby League World Cup 2021 spokesman said. There will be no further comments at this time. According to the Sydney Morning Herald, they have been told Bentley, whose tournament ended a fortnight ago when Ireland failed to make it past the group stages, was the alleged instigator. Bentley played for Leeds in the UK Super League. Sources with knowledge of the situation told the Herald that England Rugby League officials threatened to call the police on Bentley if he didn't leave a venue. It is alleged he exchanged words with England coach Shaun Wane regarding his non-selection in the England team. Bentley then seemed to inform Samoan Rugby League team that he had been attacked by the Australian-born Radley on his way out to the hotel. Bentley has been contacted for a comment by the newspaper and the reporters. It is also alleged that 2 other England high-profile players were involved in the brawl at the team hotel, where the Samoan team had just arrived to base themselves for the rest of the week after knocking England out of the tournament in London 24 hours earlier. Those allegations have been denied, but the Herald has been told the same players woke up members of the Samoa team staying at the hotel at about 1:30 AM by knocking on their doors and running away. Juvenile thing to do, but hey ho. Play, drink. Most of the England's team left the camp earlier that day, but a number of players and staff stayed back at the Worsley Park Marriott Hotel and Country Club for another night, which Radley was allegedly one of them. The Samoans, who had arrived earlier that night at the hotel after a 4-hour road trip from London, were warned by their team officials to avoid members of the England team, given they were drowning their sorrows from a failed World Cup campaign which ended at the Samoan team's hands. Radley was last year suspended by the NRL for 2 games and fined $20,000 for tackling a man in the street in Byron Bay over the Christmas break. England's place in the England team has been the topic of great conjecture, and the Roosters forward made headlines when he opted to pledge his allegiance to England, giving up any hopes of playing for New South Wales under the current state of origin eligibility rules. Despite England falling short of their targets of at least reaching a final, Radley has been one of the better players in the tournament for the England side, so take that home that he has been a positive. This incident might take some gloss off that. I'm sure that he wasn't the instigator in this, knowing James Bentley, but to say that, they are both firebrands. So, could be 6 of one, half a dozen of the other in the end of it. Now a quick recap of Monday night's Rugby League World Cup, as the final part of the semi-final stage was played out, where the women's teams faced off against each other at the York LNER Community Stadium. Those teams were Australia versus Papua New Guinea and England versus New Zealand, as a double header was played out, 5 PM in the UK and then 7:30 in the UK for the two games respectively. England and Australia topped the two pools of group between New Zealand, Papua New Guinea and other teams that played Cook Islands, France, Canada and Brazil, with the runners-up being New Zealand and Papua New Guinea in the respective groups. So Australia got to face the second place in the other group, while England faced the second place in the Australia group. And it went to form, unfortunately, for England in the second game, as New Zealand came away with the win, 20 points to 6. Frank Goldthorpe's try had given the hosts a dream start, but the Kiwi Ferns responded with tries from Melly Hufanga and Racine McGregor just before the break, and tries from Otessa Poole and Brianna Clark rounded off the scoring for Ricky Henry's side in front of a great crowd at the 8,500 capacity stadium, with 7,139 in attendance. It was a one-way traffic after England scored and the 20-minute mark was reached, but it was only until the 20-minute mark in the second half and England started to show some dominance in play, but mistakes and poor execution at the end of all their sustained pressure wasn't enough to overcome the tough, firing New Zealand side. Wenger was the best player on the park, as her dangerous running and powerful running put England on the back foot throughout the game. But a good shout out needs to go to Amber Hall, as the second rower for New Zealand also used her size and strength to dominate the England pack. England have progressed in the last 4 years, as it was a 52 points to 4 defeat against New Zealand last time in the same stage in 2017's World Cup, but now 6 points to 20 on home turf could mean good luck to where England Rugby League is heading towards in the women's game. In the first game, it was Australia who came out to thrash Papua New Guinea 82 points to 0 to reach the World Cup final at Old Trafford. Isabel Kelly and Emma Tonigato both scored hat-tricks for the Gillaroos, as they ran in 15 tries against an Orchid side competing in their first semi-final, and now will go on to face New Zealand. Australia had Keely Davis running from Dunamy half to open the scoring at nearly 10-minute mark, before Rooster centre Kelly collected Lauren Brown's pass to cross again 3 minutes later, and then Australia moved through the gears with Shaylee Bent, Ivana Pelete, Shayna Solka, Olivia Koenig, as well as Jessica Surgis, Talisha Harden, Talia Fuamilano, all crossing, as well as Jamie Chapman scoring after a length of the field break. Papua New Guinea coach Ben Jeffrey said the scoreline and the performance today were not up to the Orchid standards that we set internally in 2022. However, the playing group should be proud of the history they have created here, which will change the face of women's rugby league in Papua New Guinea. Now it's Australia versus New Zealand in the opening game at Old Trafford on Saturday, November the 19th, as the Women's Rugby League World Cup goes down to the final, with the teams 1 and 2 in the world facing off against each other to see who reigns supreme for 2022. And finally, it has been confirmed that England Women's Rugby League coach Craig Richards has took his final press conference as England coach, as he is not going to be taking the role on after his contract has not been extended by the Rugby Football League. The final press conference was also shut down early, as he was very emotional when he revealed he will be leaving his role following the World Cup semi-final defeat. Richards' contract was due to expire at the end of the tournament, and as I said, the RFL had decided not to renew his deal. Richards was visibly emotional after his 5-year tenure came to an end, breaking down before the interview was brought to an abrupt halt. The England coach has expressed his disappointments at the resulting minutes before after watching his side surrender an early lead, going down 20 points to 6 to the Kiwi fans. It will be someone else to take the team forward and make those decisions. It won't be me, he said. I will support from afar, working with my club to make those players the best that they can be, so I can put them forward for club and country. One thing that won't leave me is the passion I have for the England team. I'm really passionate England coach, and I am really desperate for success. Richards has overseen a process in which England has cut the gap between New Zealand and Australia to England. That was evident in the final scoreboard, in which England lost 20 points to 6 against the professional opposition. By comparison, England, who have been made up of part-time athletes throughout this tournament, lost 52 points to 4 in the semi-final of the 2017 World Cup against the same opposition. That, however, meant nothing to Richards, who believed his side was capable of winning. One of my tasks was initially just to get close to them, but I'll be honest, a year or two in, and my attitude was, we're not going to get close to them, we're going to beat them. I thought we had the side to beat them, and I thought we would do. Someone told me you closed the gap really well, but it's not good enough. I've not tried to close the gap, I tried to win a World Cup. It wasn't just Richards who was emotional after the game. Several England players were left in tears too, with Amy Hardcastle also having to leave an interview after breaking down. I'm absolutely gutted, but we gave it our absolute all. We've closed the gap, we're building, all we've done is shown what we're doing is working. Just got to keep trusting the process. For all of us, and what we're trying to do is build the game being at these World Cup games. The inspiration we've given to the younger generation is unbelievable. Even though I'm quite emotional now, I'm proud of what these girls have done for our community and raising girls rugby league. When asked about Craig Richards' position with the women's team coming to an end, Amy Hardcastle only said, "I'm absolutely gutted," ended the interview. England can be proud of their women's team, as Craig Richards has brought them on leaps and bounds in the last 5 years. You can see that in the way that they played and the way that the women's team have gone competitive during a season and also during this World Cup. There's still some processes that need to be ironed out, but that comes with more training, which means they've got to be available more, which means you have to pay these players. It says part-time, but the part-time pay was just for this World Cup. Otherwise, they have to pay their own way to play rugby league, the women's game. They do other things as well, like help with co-commentary. They go to the men's games and do analysis with that. You see the likes of Jodie Cunningham and Danica Prim, an ex-England player, go into those roles. Danica Prim has been quality as a co-commentator, as a analysis pundit for TV programs. But the team needs help off the field so that they can progress. New Zealand and Australia are designated as professional sides in the women's game. But that's night and day compared to professional sides even in the UK with the men's. They're not getting paid enough to do what they love as well. Then you compare them to the women's game in the UK. The Australian and New Zealand sides are basically millionaires in that sort of environment. They're not being paid enough as well, but England not getting paid at all when they're playing club games. That's not good enough. Leeds are starting to do that from this year, which is a positive in the right direction, but you still hear stories in the rugby league world. Have a look at Wigan for their team manager role. Still volunteer base. No paying that for the women's side, that is. They have team manager roles or media manager roles in the men's side, which are getting paid. Can't they not just fold the two together? Don't know. Anyway, tell me in the comments what your thoughts are and what England Rugby League women's side need to do to close that gap even further. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking on that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming our way in the near future. Tell me what your thoughts are on today's episode in the comment section below, as the comment section is open for business. Be respectful, everyone. I only ask for that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. I'll end the episode as I always do by wishing you all the best. So please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.